Good evening, Kings fans. The trade deadline has come and it has gone. The Kings, though, regardless of the moves they did or did not make, they are in action tonight looking to make right the loss the other night against the Detroit Pistons. The defending champion Denver Nuggets are in town tonight to face your Sacramento Kings. I want to hear from you. I really do. QR code above my shoulder. Call the show if you would like to. Also, put your comments into the chat. I would appreciate that as well. Thoughts on the trade deadline, thoughts on what's going on with this team, what's missing, what you expect from this team tonight, and much more. And by the way, I got a little something for you. I tweeted this out just a few minutes ago. On the other side, I will tell you how and why the Milwaukee Bucks are paying Keon Ellis's raise. We'll get into that. All that and more here on the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter. Stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. Goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Bowley. That is a major league smush.
Hey, welcome back into the If You Don't Like That studios. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. This is the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That. Kings Nuggets tonight from the G1C, the defending champs in town. There's the tail of the tape for you, how the teams match up. We know how the Kings are going to beat this team. That's going to be offense. The Kings are going to have to bring their A game on that side of the floor. And then also, they cannot get into foul trouble tonight against a team like Denver. Denver coming off of a back-to-back, played in LA last night, won against the Lakers, went on a 10-0 run in the closing minutes of that one to get that victory. But that is what we're looking at tonight. Kings fans, how are we feeling? How are we feeling about this matchup? Sorry, you know what? I think I didn't even put the tail of the tape up. There we go. I apologize. So here's how they match up stat-wise. But again, Kings, they have got to absolutely play without fouling tonight. So as we talked about, trade deadline has passed. The Kings do not make any significant moves. They do acquire Robin Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks for cash considerations. Robin Lopez was waived by the Kings, therefore making room to make Keon Ellis, giving him a promotion to a full-time roster spot. So Keon no longer on a two-way contract. So at the top of the show, when I said, the Milwaukee Bucks are paying Keon Ellis's raise, think about it. To a degree, the Bucks are. I mean, cash considerations for Robin Lopez. Keon gets that roster spot, which was going to be necessary regardless if he was going to be in the Kings postseason planning, assuming the Kings make it to the postseason. They had to bump him to a full deal. A two-way player is not able to play in the postseason, unfortunately. So anyways, let's get to some of your comments. Want to see where you guys are kind of landing all this, because I know this has been a very disappointing, very frustrating 24, 48 hours, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I know it's part of being a Kings fan, but I feel for you. It was tough against Detroit. Love it, Jordan. Let's rebound. I agree. I'd love to see the positivity. Excel, welcome back. Thank you for being. Excel was here for the trade deadline special. If you weren't here, go check that out on Grant's YouTube channel. If you don't like that, if you've not subscribed, go ahead, scan that QR code. We would really appreciate it. You can subscribe there. If you are subscribed, give us a thumbs up. And we appreciate everybody watching or listening wherever you are, whether that's on X or YouTube. So Anyways, getting back to tonight, I want to get to kind of what you guys are thinking, and I'm good. I'm happy to see some positivity, but yes, Excel was there for the trade deadline show. I appreciated that a lot. Flip a coin. Kings killing me. Yep, I hear you. Excel hopping back in. Dago, what's up? Are the Kings going to beat the Kings? Question of the season. It's kind of the take of the year. That's I've been saying that for a long time now. The Kings play two opponents every night, themselves and whoever else is on the schedule. What's up, you furious wolf? I had high hopes after Detroit lost. I just don't get who this team is anymore. It's very contrasting. I'm not sure if any of you were able to catch the post-game comments from Mike Brown after the Detroit loss, but they're exactly what you would expect from a leader. They're refreshing. He ripped the team a new one, basically saying, look, losing a basketball game is one thing, and I'm paraphrasing, but you want to be able to look yourself in the mirror regardless if you win or lose. And he didn't think the Kings could. He thought it was probably their worst effort of the season, at least from that standpoint, an effort standpoint. So De'Aaron Fox, and sorry for being long-winded here because you brought up who this team is. De'Aaron Fox is asked a similar question after the Pistons game. And give me your take on this, Kings fans, because De'Aaron is considered a leader of this team. He's considered the face of the franchise. I'm going to paraphrase for De'Aaron, but De'Aaron's response to the loss was more or less any team can win on any given night in this league. And so as a Kings fan, as a basketball fan, where do you land on that? I mean, is that offensive to you? I know it's coach speak, media speak. I mean, you hear it more times than not when you are asking a professional athlete or coach a question, but I expect a little more. It just, to me, a little tone deaf. And if that's the leader of this team, I don't know. But again, it's one soundbite. It's one press conference. I'm not in the locker room with De'Aaron. I'm not in the locker room with the rest of the guys. And I don't want to put this just on De'Aaron. Any of these guys are entitled to have a bad game. It happens. But it's been kind of a trend, right? The consistency thing. And we're going to get to some audio from Monty McNair here in a few minutes. Scuba was at the trade deadline party as well, or the show. Do you think sports, Sacramento presses Monty, Mike Brown, and any of the players with tough questions? I feel like they all get softballs. Yeah. Scuba, okay. Because I don't want to rip into the media. I respect a lot of the same people. I listen to a lot of the same people that all of you do as well. However, yes, it's tough. There's a line because you're getting your credential from that team. And I understand, it's somewhere in the middle. You have your journalistic responsibility and integrity and ethics that you have to follow. So you got to balance those two. And so, yeah, there's a history, and that happens sometimes in the small markets. Grant says it all the time. Grant says it nearly every time this question comes up. I'm going to put it back up, that if you were in a bigger market than Sacramento, this would not happen. Those questions would be asked. So did I find it a little bit ironic that the first time that I can remember in recent memory having Monty McNair in front of an open mic, the first question he gets is thoughts on Keon Ellis? Thoughts on Keon getting a full-time deal? After the loss to Detroit? After not really making a move at the trade deadline? I mean, am I on an island here? Let me know. Because to me, yes, that's not the first question I'm asking. Now, there were good questions after that, but I do 100% think that the media is not asking the right questions. And I think, and give me the answer too, for all of you watching. I would really like to know, are you guys getting frustrated? Do you feel like those obvious questions are right there in front of this team? Like, you're sitting here and saying, look, I don't watch a ton of basketball, but I love the Kings. Catch maybe half of a game every time they play. I catch a quarter of when they play. And even I can recognize that, hey, there's something off here. Like, why aren't they going inside more? You get my drift, like, oh, why does this guy look like this? Why? Okay. Does this guy look hurt? What's going on? Those are all questions that I think a lot of people would ask. If I'm wrong and I'm way off base, tell me I'm cuckoo here. But it just feels like you guys all have those questions and they just don't get asked. So let me know if I'm wrong or right, but I respect everybody that gets in front of a mic responsibly and puts their all into coming to you and trying to give you content that is accurate and content that is entertaining for you and fun. So I don't want to slam anybody here. Do you think the NBA teams get used to playing at certain times in their time zone? Absolutely. Do you get used to certain things in your routine? Frog, the one thing I've learned about NBA players, being around them, being around Mike Bibby a lot during my college years, routine. Those guys do the same things every single game day when they are at home. Most days, and outside of special commitments, whether that be, team events or whatever. But, when you are middle of the season, don't have the holidays, any of that stuff, these guys are eating the same thing. I'm not going to say eating the same things, but having breakfast at the same time, shoot around at the same time, lunch, nap, whatever it may be. Very regimented. So you don't want to get those guys thrown off. So good observation there. Paul, I definitely think Monty has a plan long-term, but it's definitely disappointing, making any sort of upgrade or not making any sort of upgrade on the bench. Yeah, I hear you, Paul. And that's actually a really good transition, Paul, because I do want to get to some audio from Monty McNair. I do think that it's important because that's one question that has come up frequently, actually, from the fan base. We talk about it all the time. What's the plan for this team? This is now the second trade deadline. And now the third period, including third free agency is the third, that the Kings really have not made a solid or a big splash. So I think it's really important that we listen to what Monty has to say, and then we can talk about that in just 1 second. So Monty McNair on kind of the long-term plan for this team and what he sees as next. Sorry about that, guys.
The payroll or whatever hasn't been an issue. I think this year it was a function of what we did in the off season, where we were a room team and how we were able to operate in that. We talked about the things we were able to accomplish there, and there's ways to get a little higher up. Used to be you use room, you can't get much ahead. This year we were able to pop over with Trey Lyles' bird rights and the room MLE and things like that. But that was more of a function of that. I do think the higher you get, it's really going to start handcuffing your ability to just maneuver, and there are some very draconian things that the tax and the aprons will limit you on. So, for us, it's making sure that, look, if there's something that we can do that puts us, into contention and it, costs assets, adds money, we're able to do that. We just got to be able to then maintain that. And, it's, I think, gone are the days of, you're just able to, kind of live wherever you want and do everything you want as the trades, they start freezing your picks, all sorts of things happen that are just going to make it hard to stay there. So, for us, we want we want to be there for a long time. So we also want to win in the playoffs soon. So we're always counterbalancing those things. But I do think the new rules are going to make it so, if you put yourself in a tough spot and you don't reach where you want to get to, it's going to be hard to take that next step. And if you do reach it, it may be hard to maintain it. So we're always, these days trying to figure out that balance.
All right, so that is Monty McNair on the balance of what the Kings right now are trying to reach in terms of not overpaying. What did we talk about a lot leading up to this trade deadline? It was exactly that, the new CBA that's coming into effect. Monty pointed to it many times during the press conference today. And it's exactly that. If you are a team that is going to, as we think of traditional, make a quick run towards a championship where you are loading up with free agents or acquiring guys via trade or getting guys on the buyout market, right? Those days are going to be long and gone, and actually few in between, because they still will happen, but they will not happen like we are used to see them happening, because simply franchises would risk 5-6 years of their future possibly for that one championship. So Sacramento seems to be really firm and implanted in the fact that, look, we understand that you want a championship. We understand that you could be getting a little frustrated. And Kings fans, I know this feels like lip service. I know it does, because you're always told, just wait and see, wait and see. Look, you guys are tired. You guys are tired of words and you want actions. But in this case, they are correct. They are sitting in very good position. They did not do anything to sacrifice this window that they are building towards. So I know it's hard, and I especially, thanks Lids, by the way, hit the like, especially coming after that loss against Detroit, it's a tough one. So anyways, yeah, we're getting some funny chats. May have to block some people. Garrett, the thing is, you got to have people. They should trade Kevin Huerter and a first and a second for Jamal Murray. Not going to happen. And you got to have people that are willing to trade with you. I think that if you want to put the Kings into one bucket at this trade deadline in terms of how the NBA viewed the assets that the Kings were willing to part with, I don't think the demand was there. The demand may have been there on maybe a three-way trade, probably a three-way trade, or if you get grouped in like a blockbuster. But for a Davion, for a Kevin Huerter, it just wasn't there. So unfortunately, sorry, Devin, is your video back? Hopefully it is. So anyways, we're here because it's the Kings and the Nuggets tonight. This is If You Don't Like That. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Thanks for being here. Starting lineups tonight, Peyton Watson for the Denver Nuggets, starting at the front court with Aaron Gordon, the Joker, Justin Holiday, and Jamal Murray. Kings going with their normal starting five of Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Domas, Kevin Huerter, and De'Aaron Fox. Those five have been playing heavy minutes as of late. So, look, the Kings, you got to think back to the start of this window for Sacramento. So really last year. Oh, Devin, Grant, this is actually my show on Grant's network, Devin. So Grant won't be getting here on this one, but you are happy to, or you're more than welcome to tune in at halftime and on the post game. But you're going to have all me tonight, and it's going to be all you guys as well, because we're going to get your phone calls in on the post game. Grant will be off tonight, but the Kings, going back to last season, have played very, very good basketball against the Nuggets. They really have. And granted, that last game of the season last year was a little bit of a throwaway with the Nuggets. But, however, the Nuggets, I just think these two teams match up well. So I throw that one away. As I said, it was a throwaway game. But I think the Kings are going to play a competitive game with these two, or with these lineups on the floor, especially the way Domas is playing right now and Jokic. I just love the way, looking at even the switches here between the starting lineups when they're rotating on defense. I really, really do like what I see for the Kings. I think they're going to come out and respond tonight. If they don't, I think some of those questions we're talking about, they are not going to not be asked. That was a double negative. They will be asked tonight. So we will see. Yeah. So Gamer, I appreciate you throwing that in, by the way, about Monk. So we didn't talk about this, and I think it's fair to point out, as I was talking about Monty's press conference, pretty much the core of this Sacramento Kings team is under contract going into this offseason. So you're in very good shape, but Malik Monk is that missing piece. Is he going to re-sign? I think really for me, the question becomes, in now that we've had two trade deadlines pass where the front office has declined to make any significant move, that tells me this front office leans more on that conservative side, right? So what do you think they are going to estimate Malik Monk's value to be? To me, I don't know what that number is. I'd love to get your take on it. Let me know what you think the number is a year for Malik. I mean, if it's going to be a 3-year contract, probably with a fourth option on it, or a player option on the fourth. But I think Malik's at least a $20 million guy a year. I think he has to be, but I think that's where the attention turns this season, in the offseason, or after the season, I should say, for Malik Monk and the Kings. Can they get something done? Speaking of done, I don't know how you guys like your steak done. I'm a medium rare guy. I can't go anything higher than that, but let me tell you a little bit about Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. That is Bennett's newest location, located in the Blue Oaks Town Center. They also have another location in Roseville and Sacramento off of Howe and Fair Oaks. You all know, you know the hits at Bennett's. We talk about their steak, seafood all the time, but go check out all their specials. They've got some great happy hour specials. And by the way, big game coming up Sunday, the Super Bowl. I'm sure a lot of you are 49ers fans and maybe hosting parties. Bennett's does a lot of big takeout orders and catering. So think about them. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Check out the menu. You can grab gift cards, make reservations, and much more. Bennett's, they are one of our favorites, and we know how much you guys all enjoy Bennett's too. We really, really enjoy hearing that you guys enjoy going there. Yes, indeed. I think Monk can get a Harrison Barnes deal if he wants longer than 3 years, but at the end of the day, give the man what he wants. We need him. Yeah. The Kings, and that's the thing, because they've set themselves well financially, set themselves up well, they're not in a bad spot to where they can't pay a little bit of a premium on Malik Monk. So, Patrick, is my mic too loud for you, bud? Okay, we've had a little bit of a technical thing the last 3 days with my mic. So if that's too loud, let me know, and I will get that fixed for the next show. So thanks for the heads up there. So anyways, getting back to the question. Yeah, I think Monk can probably get a little bit of a premium from the Kings if he wants it. And the Kings can give him a premium because he would be on an expiring contract here. No Monk re-sign, then Fox will leave when unrestricted. Interesting, Joe. Are we going to start talking about that a little bit more? I don't know. I mean, that could be something. There's no guarantee that De'Aaron would sign here again. I mean, De'Aaron, think about it. He doesn't get the All-Star nod, right? But does he make All-NBA this year? Can he get a All-NBA third team nod? If he does, he would be eligible for a Supermax. So I think that's where the conversation begins at that point. So yeah, no problem. Love it, Devin. Sure. You are so, I'm so happy you are going to hang around, buddy. You are more than welcome. In fact, you should change the spelling of your name. You really should. You know, you should spell it blocked. You're done, dude. Get out of here. Hey, we're going to the phone lines. Paul, welcome into the pregame show. What's up, man?
Hey, I just wanted to call and reiterate on Malik. I think the Kings can only offer him 4 years, 78.
478. So right, it is around that $20 million mark.
Yep, 18.5 or something like that, I think.
Does that include the extra they can offer him for him being on an expiring deal?
No, because they signed him for a 2-year on the MLE. I think he's only allowed to get 4 years, 78. So
there you go.
Unless
Paul picking us up.
I think they might be able to send him to free agency and give him more, but I don't think they do that.
So let me ask you, Paul. You're pretty knowledgeable. You know that number. Do you think Malik's worth that number?
I think he's going to get a higher offer than that from other teams. From a team that, you know, is low in the standings, that needs that guy to come in and bring a spark. You know, he could be worth that. I think he's definitely worth that to the Kings.
Yeah, he absolutely is worth that to the Kings. I mean, he's not gonna be like a Keegan Murray size contract, I don't think, should that come about in the next year or so. But I don't know who you would replace him with. And you look at the Kings, if they make the playoffs this year, their first round draft picks going to Atlanta. So, you know, you're kind of handcuffed there. So they're gonna have to sweeten the deal as much as they can, and hopefully they can make a run at the end of this year and kind of get him to stay on that goodwill and chemistry.
Yep. So, I mean,
all right,
I'm definitely paying him that, but you know, we'll see. But I think that's one of the reasons why Monty didn't make too many moves too, because they do have to sign him. So we'll see going forward.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm glad that you made the call. One, for giving us that number on Malik. You said 87.5, 4 year, 3 year?
No, 4 years, 78.
4 year.
Yeah.
78. 4 years, 78 for Malik if the Kings re-sign him. So thanks for that, Paul, and good insight too on Malik and Monty. Maybe why the Kings didn't make a move at the break.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, brother. Good call there. Good call there. Getting a lot of reaction on Malik Monk. And if my mic is still too loud, please let me know. Cool. Is that better? All right. Let me know. I know you're turning your sound down. What's up, Alberto? Haven't seen you there. I'm sure you've been in the chat. Kings should keep Monk. Not many free agents trying to play in Sacramento. But does that change a little bit? I don't know. That's the question that I ask. I mean, there wasn't the Kings didn't really make an effort to chase anybody too much in the offseason. I know Kuzma was one of those guys. Yeah, I agree, John. 100%. Good job by Paul. Kuzma was one of those guys whose name came up a lot. But yeah, there's not a lot. And free agents, there hasn't been enough of a sample size when I say there's not a lot. We don't know. The Kings haven't gotten into significant discussions with any free agents that I can really think of that are like really new to the team. And I'm not talking about a Chris Duarte. I'm talking about a big name free agent. So it would be interesting to see how they would react to a Kings team like this. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. While I would never want this, and I don't think it would have ever happened, if LeBron James would have come available, tell me if this Kings team wasn't at, I don't know, let's say they were 1 in the West right now, and you could get LeBron James on, you give out the guys. Let's say you give up the guys you want. Because I had a couple of fans tweet me scenarios. You give up a couple of the guys you want, and then you backload picks for the Lakers, which they need. It could have worked. And so a deal like that, that may have taken the Kings over the top. So I think LeBron would have seen Sacramento as a desirable place to play. Still in the state of California, still, like with a team that's younger, a team that has a chance to win the championship. So I know we're talking crazy right now, but I think that there's still some attraction there. So I want to know why the Kings release Robin Lopez, because they don't want to pay Robin Lopez, number one. Number two, Michael, I mean, he doesn't fit here. Number three, he's just not really been playing a ton. So I don't think it was really, if you wanted a Lopez brother, Brooks the one you want. But yeah, unfortunately, he is no more. But yeah, they released him to make room for Keon Ellis, basically paying the raise for Keon Ellis. So anyways, Kings Nuggets tonight. I appreciate you all being here on the pregame show. Sorry that things were a little bit bumpy with the tech. We'll get that figured out, get the mic all hammered out before the halftime show. But we will be right back here at halftime. Kings Nuggets tonight. Hopefully the Kings show up. I have a feeling the Kings will show up tonight. This is going to be a great game. Enjoy the game. Talk to you at that.